and welcome to Nana's Crafty Home. My name is Tanya. Today's tutorial is going to show you how to finish the flower Easter basket, this pretty little spring basket that you can find as a free pattern on my website. I'm not going to be providing the complete video tutorial for this, simply just showing you how to make these stems and sewing on your buttons, as well as finishing the basket, creating your handle, and sewing that onto your basket. If you want the free written pattern instructions for the basket and for the whole pattern, you can find a link below in the description. But I wanted to give you some visuals on how to work some of these finer details for this simple and really beginner-friendly basket. The basket itself is made with a bulky yarn, so it works up quickly in single crochets. And if you're going to be making the basket, I did use a size L or an 8.0 millimeter crochet hook. I also used a bulky weight yarn, the Loops and Threads Charisma. And then I used some 4-weight, just regular worsted weight, Red Heart Super Saver yarn that I had on hand. And I used that for the stems. You're also going to need an assortment of flower buttons that you're going to sew to your basket, as well as one sheet of plastic canvas that you're going to use to actually create and stiffen your handle for your basket. That's entirely optional, but I really like using that plastic canvas because it keeps that handle into a good shape. You're also going to need a tapestry needle, one that's going to be large enough for you to thread your yarn into, but one that has a small enough head that you can still fit it through one of your buttons. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so now that we have finished the main part of our basket, we're going to go ahead and create those flower stems and sew our buttons on to create those flowers around the outside of that basket. And I just have that same crochet hook that I used for the main part of the basket. So I'm going to take the color of yarn that I want to use for my flower stems, and it doesn't matter where you start on your basket as far as the side, but you're going to be inserting your hook at the bottom of round 12. So that first round of your basket side, you're going to be inserting your hook just below one of those single crochet stitches. And again, it doesn't matter which stitch, we're just going to insert our hook. And then from the wrong side, I'm just going to yarn over my hook with that yarn, and I'm going to pull it through. You could also make a slip knot and pull that through if that's easier for you, but I'm just going to pull through. Make sure you leave a long enough end so that you can sew that end in when we're finished. And we're just going to be working some surface crochet. If you've never done surface crochet before, it's basically working slip stitches over existing stitches. So we're going to be working slip stitches over these single crochet stitches, working up to create that stem. So you can see that there is a natural space in between these rounds of stitches. So this is my single crochet that I pulled up a loop, and now here is that space just above that single crochet, and I'm going to insert my hook into the wrong side of the basket. Now I'm going to yarn over my hook and pull up a loop into that space, and I'm going to then pull that loop through the loop that was on my hook, making sure not to pull too tightly so that we pull our end through or bunch our work. And that step is going to be repeated to the height you want for your flower. So that space just above that single crochet that I worked under, I'm going to insert my hook, and on the other side I'm going to yarn over, and pull up a loop and then pull through the loop on my hook. And just continue doing that same thing to whatever size we want for that stem. And I'm going to be working my flower stems at varying heights. So some will be taller, some will be shorter, just to give some variety and not the same height for all of them. And then once you get to that height that you want to stop at, so you can see here I've worked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stitches. You're going to fasten off that end, leaving a long enough tail so that we can sew the flower button to the top of that stem. So go ahead and fasten off and then pull through. I've got a nice long length here to sew that button on, and then I'm going to use my tapestry needle to sew it on. You're going to want to secure that in place so the button doesn't go anywhere. And once you're done with that, you're finished with your first flower. And then you're going to be repeating those steps for however many flowers you want to do. I'm going to be working every 6 stitch. So I'm going to skip 6 single crochet stitches, skipping 6 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to insert my hook into this space to create that next stem. And I'm going to continue that all the way around. And you can do more or less as you desire just by inserting your hook, pulling up a loop, inserting your hook above that single crochet in the space, yarning over, pulling up, and through the loop. And this one I'm going to make a little shorter, not as tall as the previous one. Fasten off, pull through, and then find the flower button you want to use and sew it on. And it's as simple as that. So continue on creating your flower stems and sewing on your buttons until you've worked all the way around your basket. So now I'm ready to cut my plastic canvas to size. I've crocheted up my handle, and this is going to be folded over, and that plastic canvas is going to be sewn inside that handle to give it stability. So I want to cut that plastic canvas to the right size. So I've got a piece here that's the right length, 12 inches tall, and now I need to cut it to width at about 1 1/4. I'm at about 1 1/2, so I'm going to cut it down to about a 1 1/4 inch width here. So now we're ready to sew our plastic canvas into that basket handle. We're going to lay that on top, and we're going to be folding it, so we're going to lay it in the middle because I want that seam to be on the bottom middle of the basket handle. If I were to just have it at the side like this and fold it, now the seam is going to be visible on the side of my handle, and I don't want that. So I'm going to lay it in the center and then fold over that plastic canvas. I'm going to take that long length of yarn that I left for sewing, put that on my tapestry needle, and I'm going to just begin sewing this shut. So just working back and forth, closing the seam. And just continue that all the way down your handle. So once you've completed sewing that handle together with the plastic canvas, we're going to go ahead and sew the handle to the basket. And what I've done here is I have used some stitch markers to evenly space the handle on both sides. And what you're going to need is about 28 stitches on both sides so that these are evenly spaced on both sides of your basket. Once you've done that, you're going to get your yarn on your needle and we're going to sew. And now I know where I'm going to be placing that handle. I'm going to take these out and I'll be placing this just below the top edge of the basket. So I'm going to be sewing it on the inside, just under the top edge. And you're going to take some yarn from the inside of that basket and sew that handle in place. And you're going to make sure that it's secure. So maybe you're going to make a couple of passes across the bottom edge of that handle. And once you feel like that handle is secure, you can go ahead and fasten off, weave in that end, and then repeat those same steps for the other side of your handle. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial today. Thanks so much for being with me. As always, remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you never miss a new video. You can find me at nanascraftyhome.com where I have lots of free patterns, tutorials, and tips and tricks for you to check out. While you're there, be sure to sign up for my newsletter so you never miss out on a new pattern. Thanks everyone. I will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.